kicked me off because of copyright. I understand that. I understand that, really. Yeah. So yes, yeah. So I can't learn a song live. And I understand that. I understand that. But this is it looks like Simon. I don't know if you remember Simon, Guitar Hero, a little bit. But no, it actually teaches you how to play, and that's why I like this game.
Session mode.
It actually teaches you how to play. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I could just come in session mode here and just jam, just and do it live. You know what I mean? And practice my own kind of thing.
Session mode.
So what I do a lot is I just come in here and put on the blues scale in E. Like this, you know. Try that. Do a shuffle. Pushed. Shuffle. Relax it. What's that one? Tempo slew. I don't know what that is, but let's try it. And change my the kind of room I'm practicing in. As at the arena, let's go to the arena, and then I could add in like a jam, 12 bar, add in let's try a slap piece in there, and then maybe another guitar.
Howdy, Wild Bill.
Hello there. Hello there. Yeah, if you ever want to learn how to play guitar, I recommend this Rocksmith. It's a lot of fun to play. It teaches you your own style. It helps you find your own style is what it does. But you can learn cover songs. This is where I learned Tom Petty. I won't back down. You know. Some other ones, eh? Let's see what else.
It's not like Guitar Hero or Rock Band. It's better.
Well, actually, only way it's similar is you match when you play in learn a song mode or lessons and stuff like that, right? What you see on the screen is 6 lines, all different colors, but they are the strings of your guitar. Yeah. So, and you have to hit the proper note when it comes, just like Guitar Hero. But the thing about Guitar Hero, it doesn't teach you anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. It teaches you memory skill, like that game Simon, who did a good joke about that. Frickin' Dane Cook years ago. Yeah. Everybody remember Simon? Yeah. Yeah. Match the sound and the color. Yeah. So you turn it on, blue, beep, beep. You know. He did a good joke about that. Yeah. Let's see what else I got put in here. Nothing else, eh? Alright. Maybe some piano, eh? Okay. Now I'm just doing my own thing in here. I could actually practice what you're about to see, because those are the scales. But I'm just going to do my own thing, just see how it sounds, eh? Now I'm using my guitar, my electric acoustic, but I also got a pawn shop electric I could use too, eh? I don't know if it sounds any good. Does it? I'll work some scales a little bit.
Oh, that's badass. Takes time to learn, I'm sure.
Does it sound any good of what I'm playing with this backup band? Okay, I'll stop them here. Okay, there goes the metronome still. But the other instruments will okay, I'll start again now.
Is there levels? Or do you just go by song?
Eh? Okay, let's try something here then. Hang on, watch.
Session mode.
I'll just go back in there, right? Okay, and I will remove that and remove that and remove that. Keep the metronome because you need something in there, right? And then I'll just go back in now. Watch.
Session mode.
Oh. I want the metronome. Where did I find that to begin with? That one. The metronome.
Oh, I see.
Where did I find the metronome before? Okay. Oh, perfect. Now, I'm just doing my own thing in here. Just me and the metronome. Now, listen to the rain and then listen to the song. I got to adjust this but a bit still, but listen.
Very nice.
It's a shame when things change. All alone in the rain. No, I got to adjust this. I don't like that sound for that song. Look into my eyes, look into my mind, look into my eyes, and you'll see pain I feel way down deep inside. Eh? No? But this is what I do when I have a guitar. I'm on it constantly, man. I'm on this thing constantly, and I'm just jamming out. And
I like to play drums.
really? Yeah. Okay.
Never been good at guitar, but I like it. The chord B minor is dope.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on here, cause I'm gonna change out that sound of the rain and put the metronome back in there.
Session mode.
Just go with that, cause it's just a beat, eh? Cause I've never learned how to work with the metronome yet either. So what you're gonna hear is just it was taught to me as a finger exercise to get my hands sharp, because I got big hands, as you saw, right? I got big hands. But when I first started playing, I could not stretch my index and pinky as far as as 2 frets, really. Like, seriously, I could not stretch my hands. it was weird. So this guy I was in with, he taught me a couple little things. Now, I don't know if they're from actual songs or just stuff he picked up throughout the years, but he taught me this. Taught me that. Now, over the years, I've been working with that, and I came up with a verse. And then it goes back to what I played at first there, as the chorus. And I'm turning that into a song. I'm starting to get words for it now, but the title of the song, I got a friend of mine came up with this title called The Shuffler. It's called The Shuffler. So you just started out, eh? There he comes. There he comes. There he goes. Now you know why everybody calls him the Shuffler. Something like that, eh? And then it goes into the verse. No matter how you play it, no matter how you play it, he's more than happy to oblige. No matter how you play it, something like that. He's more than happy to oblige. Because he's the shuffler, man. And what I envision when I'm playing this is one of them poker players.
Hi.
You know what I mean? And hello. And that's what I think about when I play that song. The Shuffler. It's called The Shuffler.
Happy birthday again, Broads.
When he walks by, you'll always know why. He's called a shuffler.
Hi there, cool stuff you've got going on here.
There he comes. There he comes. There he goes. He's called the shuffler. Yeah, that's what I had a little nap this morning, but pretty much this is what I've been doing all day. Playing guitar, have something to eat, play guitar, go on Facebook for a while. Yeah.
David Intuitions, emoji red heart. Thank you so much.
That's just another practice thing I do. Yeah.
Smile. Very welcome. I'm gonna put my girl to bed, but we'll be back in a little bit if you're still on. Was greedy to listen to you go.
Borderlines from the top of Bruce. I did that wrong. Shit. That's a new song I'm working on about my own hometown here. Yeah, and it's about the city I grew up in and this area, but from a perspective of what it was like in the 70s, 80s for us, eh? Yeah. So
Hope your adorable little girl has a great night. Emoji bridge at night.
Yeah. So one big thing in the 70s and 80s was the chorus. You know what I mean? We rode our bikes to get somewhere. We had no car, no gas to spare. The sun goes down on the Sioux, my hometown. Just jam out, eh? That's I couldn't jam like this when I was in. I could have, seriously, I could have, but I didn't have confidence. Prison is a place where you have to keep the noise down sometimes.
Cool notes, man.
So I couldn't really get into stuff. My timing was all off. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I moved into here, the place I live now, back in 2013, when things began coming together with me and the guitar and my understanding a little more of it and how it's a good outlet. They say music is one of the best means of catharsis. Yeah. If you know what catharsis means, let me know if you know what catharsis means.
I don't.
Eh? I gotta grab a smoke there real quick. Wait a minute. Oh,
But I know music is soothing.
now, uh, um, when I say that music is a good means of catharsis, it goes back to that old saying, music soothes the savage beast. Yeah. It's a way of getting that hostility out. Is the meaning behind all that. Mm-hmm. So instead of smashing up my
Yeah,
house,
it sure does.
or getting into a fight or something like that, you mean, or you fucking you rip somebody's head off with the guitar, man. You just because that's the saying in guitar circles. Uh, cut their heads off, I guess, and stuff like that. Now I'm starting to understand why they say that. Yeah, but but catharsis,
LOL.
but catharsis itself, and which throughout a lot of my videos I do about culture, prison, society, you'll hear that term catharsis. So you should know understand what that means. Where I'm coming from with it all the time. You know what I mean? Catharsis, anomie, gaslighting.
It does the same thing for me, big smile.
Yeah. And actually, you know what? That's hockey, video game hockey over the years. That's become a means of catharsis for me too, because I just skate around the ice, play well, and just hammer guys into the boards as hard as I can, as often as I can. Just online hockey. A lot of today's generation don't like fighting. Fuck, I love fighting, man, and it's a video game. What the hell is the big deal? But I use it as a means of catharsis. I'll punch somebody's fucking face in here on the ice and get that aggression out. You know what I mean? And I do that on a conscious level. Seriously. That way I'm not getting
I
into
love
whole,
hockey, emoji field hockey.
yeah, eh? Uh, and so so back to catharsis. I'm, I had to look up the common knowledge definition of it, but it it's it, it's it, it drives to the point of no return. You know when you're you say you're arguing with somebody and you're face to face, nose to nose, and both of you start getting angry, but nobody's pushed each other or they didn't done anything yet, and you're shaking. You know what I mean? That's the point of no return, but not exactly catharsis. Catharsis is always referred to in the terms of
Yeah.
witnessing an injustice. Okay? Um, on next show, next time I'm on there, remind me to talk about catharsis and um,
Yeah, I get it.
and the show Star Trek Enterprise and J.T. Hertzler, the actor. Okay? Because in all of my life, he's the actor that I saw portray the best portrayal of catharsis. Okay? Yeah. the end result of his catharsis was what you saw on Nick's show the other night.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, that was the end result. One of two choices. Okay. Now, when you witness an injustice, you you get angry and you want to do something, right? So there's they say, I think there's more because of guitar, piano, lifting weights, jogging, but they say there's only two ways to go: the right way and the wrong way. Because there, and why I say there's much more to it, because there's too much binary thinking in society within the consciousness of mankind. There's too much binary thinking. It's one way or the other, good, bad, up, down. But in life, think about opinions. Okay, that's how many ways there are. However many people in the world, that's how many
True that.
individual perspectives there are. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But suffice it as that, I roll back here. When you witness an injustice, you get angry, and so sometimes it manifests in the moment with you in terms of shaking, clenched teeth, darting eyes, glaring, but you haven't crossed that line yet. Now, this is where they say there's two ways taken, one of two ways. You could do what I did with Bill C51 and make that stupid that video when I realized what it was about, and make that video and make yourself look like a clown and cost you respect, and all this kind of stuff, cost you respect, your job, friends, because you're going from your reaction as opposed to a response. Okay? If you know the difference between reaction and response. Reaction is immediate, your initial gut reaction. Something happens and you just lash out, you punch them in your face. Okay? A response is thought out first. That's the difference. It's calm, rational, but it's fueled and motivated by the same anger about that injustice. So you could cross that line and then say stuff you're not supposed to, and you shouldn't do it in certain ways,
Yeah.
or you channel that emotion and get into activism work, start up organizations like Innocence Canada. Because here's an interesting
I
story.
used to do that.
Here's an interesting story about how Innocent Canada got to where it is now, how it began. Those lawyers that started AIDWIC were the lawyers that were helping Guy Paul Moran. In his case, it was the Committee for Justice for Guy Paul Moran or something like that, and they helped them, and yeah, they proved him factually innocent, and then they springboarded that into AIDWIC. Yeah, yeah. So those are the choices. You could do stuff like that and work for the common better, to fight for change. You know what I mean? Or you could,
Wow.
or you could just flap your gums, knee-jerk reaction, and make a fool out of yourself. Me, a few years back, I chose the latter. I made a fool of myself in a way, but I don't care if I look like that. I really don't, because honestly, it I found out who really will listen to me and try want to help me, and right now, like I don't want to insult nobody, but really nobody, everybody walked away from me. Adric even walked away from me a bit because of Bill C-51 and my views about it. Yeah. Oh well. I've lived lonely before. You know what I mean? I, I walked up that hill by myself.
Help is good.
You know what I mean? But I just don't know where to go now. So I'm just kind of making videos about what I think I know and see if
We
it
learn
will.
from the experience.
Absolutely. And yeah, so that's catharsis, and now I understand a little bit about the guitar. Like all of my life, I've always wanted to learn the guitar. Okay, all of my life since I was 7 years old. But it wasn't until I got to prison that I actually started doing it for myself. I took lessons here and there when I was a
Cool.
kid. My oldest brother tried to teach me some stuff when I was about 12 years old. But 12, a 12-year-old boy, he'd rather be outside playing hide and seek, guns, road hockey, because it's a personal commitment to learn the guitar because it does take that commitment every day, constant, and it's repetitious. You just have to sit there and just keep doing it over and over and over until you make breakthroughs and come to understandings. And like that shuffler tune I played, it took me over 20 years to get it. It did. You know what I mean? Because like I said in on Nick's show, had that brain operation and I got a learning disability. I'm not stupid. I just learn differently. I'm an auditory learner. I can read, and I do read at a university level, and I could comprehend.
You play well.
You know what I mean? But really, I learn more, and I share better orally through auditory stimulus and visual and talk about it. Now, some might say that's part of my culture, and yes, it is. The Aboriginal culture was always an oral tradition.
I learn better auditory too.
You know what I mean? So, so I can learn. Just my stuttering was not. I don't believe was a result of that brain operation. My brother Paul used to stutter, and I looked up to him, and I started stuttering. He grew out of it. I didn't. You know what I mean? And that's also due to lack of confidence, not sure of myself, not fitting in my skin, too, eh? Nerves. Because when very rare have I'm sure over the last few days that we've spoke that you've actually heard me stutter, right? That's because I'm sure of myself. I fit in my skin. I know who
That
I am.
makes sense.
I know who I am now, right? But there are still times when I get overly excited and I stutter. And I recognize that now and then. I pull back and just, okay, hang on here. You know what I mean? However, this is a cool story. I think it's a cool story because it's a story about freedom. It's about freedom and it's about finding
I have
yourself.
done that too.
And it's about finding yourself. Like, because I'm doing this in another video, so I won't give you the full story. Just where it applies to my stuttering. Uh, I got out September 20th.
Okay.
I got out September 21st, 2005 from the Ontario Court of Appeal in Toronto. Okay? I was, I got out 11 years to the day I was convicted. That was orchestrated by James Lockyer because Aidwick had their benefit concert that night, so 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 they put their ducks in a row and got me out on that night to raise money for Aidwick. Yeah, right? So so I get my bail, and James and me and my mom and my uncle, my aunt, and some of our family are coming down the escalator, out the back door. I think it was the back door. I think so. But anyway, I was coming down the escalator, and we were coming down under where we just walked on that floor to get to the escalator. So we were going down under that now. And as we were coming down, the back door and daylight started creeping up inch by inch. The doors. Freedom. I'm walking out. I'm fucking walking out, you know what I mean? And James Lockyer told me it'd be alright. He was one of my biggest supporters. I love that man. I gotta say that right out, and I tell him so every time I see him, man. I love that man with all of my heart. He's the kindest, gentlest man I've ever met in my life. James Lockyer. And
That's great.
And so we were coming down the escalator. He was telling me it's gonna be all right because he could tell I was starting not to hyperventilate, but get a panic attack almost going, and you know. And he pulled me aside and he talked to me, and then he became right harsh, truthful with me.
Nervous.
And he told me to look out the doors. And there was a group of people out there, a big group of people out there, and there was media, TV cameras, newspaper, radio, big fucking group of people out there. And he told me, you see them out there? Those people are here for you.
Yikes.
They are here for you. Right? And he talked me down. Right? And so then we started walking out towards the door again. And I can't remember if it was a revolving door or a handled door, you know what I mean? I can't remember which it was. But I started going out the door. And James Lockyer put his hand on my back, on the lower part of your back there, just above your butt there, like that area, and he gave me a gentle push, eh? And on the way out the door, he said, don't forget to mention our benefit concert tonight.
Haha.
And he pushed me out the door. And the camera and the press rushed me, man. Holy fuck, I'll never... I really don't... From a memory standpoint, I didn't black out or anything like that. It's just the stress of the moment. I don't remember
Sounds like an amazing guy.
I don't remember what happened over the next few minutes. Although I was conscious and I was answering press's questions and I made a statement and all that, but I don't remember it. I remember it from seeing footage, video footage, years later and the next day and years later. Then I remember it only from that, but I don't have a memory of it in my head. I don't. Because eventually I did hyperventilate where James Lockyer had to jump in like like a life preserver to take that attention off me because I was hyperventilating and I ended up on at the walls along that brick wall there and breathing and then I opened my eyes and the world was different to me then right then the sky was bluer everything had sharper definition red colors were sharper brighter there was an ambulance going by on Queen Street I think with the sirens going people walking around but everything looked sharper yeah I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. Yeah. Now the point of
That was a
all
huge moment for you.
now the point of all that when James pushed me out the door and I finally came to my senses along the wall in that couple of minutes another lawyer of Adwick came to me and described it to me it almost looked like uh, I was like a phoenix rising. Okay? My cousin, in the next reservation over, she told me what she saw on TV when I came out those doors. Now, this I'll explain this. What she saw, and I guess some other people saw this on TV, was I can't remember what color she said, but it was a spider web going across my face, and it was gone. Now, the significance of that apparently is symbolic in that this person has something to say and something to do in his life. That kind of idea. Now, I never saw that on the video footage at all, ever. Other people have, and other people have mentioned it. But I grew into my skin in those couple minutes. I stuttered from about 5 years old until I was 35 years old when James pushed me out those doors. I haven't stuttered since. Nor lack.
Wow, cool.
I grew into myself. Yeah. Yeah. So it's really who's on with me? Is that you, Nick, or Allie? Who's on with me here? Oh,
My name is Angela.
Angela. Hello, Angela. But but you're the more you listen to me speak, yeah, the more you listen to me speak and watch my videos and and become accustomed to that
I follow Nick too.
that I come from the Aboriginal culture and the significance and symbology that culture entails. You'll be hearing some odd stories from me, but that's consciousness. That spider web across my face, that's related to consciousness of the earth, consciousness of the universe, consciousness connected to mankind. That's deep. I don't say that with any pat of myself on the back because like I said, I did not witness these things. But something has been nagging at me for the last few years that
More
that
knowledge.
that the possibility of me surviving my brain operation my humiliation through childhood and teenage years because of my learning disability, and everything related with that, going to jail for something that never happened, get going from the fishbowl of prison to the fishbowl of the media, becoming internationally recognized, and
Gal, you survived.
and I could say that internationally recognized. 'Cause I used to live in an area of Ontario, Canada called the Muskokas. It's cottage country, and near, just on the outskirts of cottage country, is an Aboriginal reservation called Rama, and they got a casino there, Casino Rama. And I used to go there, me and my ex at the time. Her and I used to play slots and blackjack. She used to play blackjack. I used to go to free shows through my points. That's how often I went there. That my points built up, and I got free tickets to this and that. And I bought tickets to different shows. I bought tickets and went and saw Travis Tritt. And all of that kind of stuff. And but one night, my ex and I were there. I can't remember if it was a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. I can't remember what the day was. But we were there. We weren't there for very long, and we always used the valet parking. And when we were gonna go home at about 10:30, 11 o'clock, I think, at night. We go outside and we get the valet our ticket to go get our truck, and we're sitting on a bench having a cigarette. It's kind of raining, and then these two guys, and I don't want to make a point of this, but they were brown skinned. One was wearing a turban, the other wasn't. And they came out the door, and they, with a purpose, when they come out, they were darting their head. They were looking for something or somebody. And then they saw me. They saw me sitting there on that bench, and they came out to see me. And the one guy without the turban was the other guy's translator. They were from India. And the guy in the turban said, he gave me his card, so I have no reason to not believe him. But he said he was a judge from India. He was in Canada for some conference. He didn't come over here to search me out or anything like that. But he recognized me. He recognized me. And where the translator comes in was that they were making hand motions to me about taking a picture. You know how you make a motion with your hands? Click, click. And I took the camera because I thought they wanted me to take a picture of them. I thought that's why they'd come up to me. No. That judge wanted a picture with me. That's how come I say my case and my consciousness and all that is touched the consciousness around the world. You know what I mean? And I don't say that with any kind of pride that I'm better or I know more than anybody else or anything like that. It's fact.
Oh, wow.
It's fact. It's fact. For a short time in my life, I was internationally known. For a short time in my life, I was a national hero in this country, and now I'm a national clown because of my outburst about Bill C-51. And people are angry at me right now because of what I say about certain things. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You're a human being.
So that don't bother me because I was in the worst place in life, man. And I still held my head up, and I still was able to look people in the eye. You know what I mean? And speak truth. You know what I mean? So they could laugh at me, get mad at me.
Way to go.
You know what I mean? Because my attitude always is, go fuck yourself. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a bad attitude to take out on the street, but that's a survival thing in prison. To get that edge, you get hard, eh? Now, what they mean by when you get hard in prison, your heart hardens.
Yeah.
Your heart hardens. That's what it is. And mine did a bit. It crusted over a little bit, but it didn't get rock solid hard. No, because I fought that culture, that society. I fought it and tried not to become it. If you saw Shawshank Redemption, I could relate to every point that is made in that movie from start to finish. Except, well, you know what?
Yeah.
I could even say that I escaped prison every fucking day, and the guards didn't even know it, but I did. I did. I escaped every day into myself, into reading, into educating myself, into computers, learning, learning. I kept learning. That's where I hid.
In your mind.
I hid in technology. I, in my teenage years, I was an arcade person. That was my thing. That was my first addiction in life. Yeah, the arcade. So when the video game console, computer gaming, I dove into those games, and the rest is history. And I'm finding now that it's hard getting out of my head sometimes, which is part of PTSD.
Me too.
But it's part of that PTSD, and how PTSD is a syndrome and it runs in cycles, and it's like a pressure cooker and you have to let it out eventually. You got to let it run its course. Yeah, that's what I'm finding. You got to let it run its course,
Yeah.
and sometimes it takes me 2-3 weeks for it to run its course. Like I haven't picked up yet on the triggers, but I know when I'm in a cycle. You know what I mean? Yes. And and uh, and I'm going to be doing other videos in the People Say series about PTSD and this cycle of PTSD with Star Trek as the background analogy. How if you watch my prisons video, a daily practice in dehumanization, that one, watch that. That's where I tried to. I don't know if I did very well, but I tried to lay the groundwork for
Not yet.
these next videos in that about perception,
I will.
about perception, how prison, freedom, and how we are programmed in prison. We're programmed. There there is no rehabilitation at all. The way society understands that word, there is none of that. There is no rehabilitation in prisons. The the only rehabilitation that goes on is the process of programming and conditioning the convict to believe that the only place he could survive in this world is prison. but it also does that to the staff, the guards. It does. It reprograms the guards as well, and they don't even know it. Most convicts don't. They don't understand it the way I just put it to you. They turn a blind eye to it, and they accept it, and they accept the culture and the norms of that society. And I never did, because of language and I mean literal words, that daily words used in daily conversation that become norms.
It makes you stronger in the long run.
Now what I mean by that is a convict, most convicts, okay, will use words like house and home when describing their jail cell. And when you use a word consistently, you will start to believe it, even if it's a lie. Because they are neither houses or homes, those jail cells. They are what they are. A hole in the wall. They're a fucking jail cell. They're a cage. That's what they are. And I would never accept that word, those words, house or home.
Yeah, true.
Convicts do, and guards and staff accept house and home when describing their work environment of coming to work every day. This is their home. I feel sorry for you, pal. You know what I mean? Because guards would tell convicts, yeah, and they told me this, that they are a lifer too, only on the installment plan. I fucking laugh at them. Because I knew I was innocent for what I was in for, mainly, but also understanding prisons for what they are.
Cause they let themselves be programmed.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. So they would tell me they're lifers on the installment plan, and I would go, oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo for you. You're here by fucking choice. I'm not. This may be your home, and that's fine if you want this to be your fucking home. How sad is that? Because you got a job, $60,000, $70,000 a year to come to work every day and live in hate and cause hate and cause chaos and give up your own a right to choose for yourself because of their job, because they are officers who have to follow orders in a command structure. They cannot make decisions on their own. Good, that's your home. Good, you fucking belong there. I don't. You know what I mean? I would laugh at them. And the guards that would threaten my life, said, this is your home. So if I'm such a threat to your home that it takes you killing me, then by all means. I don't belong here anyway. Go ahead, kill me. You're fucking evil. You're a sick human being. And I laugh at the kind of daily life you live at home. What kind of environment you put your own family under. You know what I mean? Like, so that's how I fought things, where I learned words, I learned language, I learned critical thinking. But that was because my consciousness awakened while I was in prison, and I didn't realize it when I was going through it. It's not till now that I'm able to put it in a term like that. Because I was murdered.
Better thinking for yourself.
Like, when I got convicted for something that never happened and got wrongly convicted like that, I was murdered by, quote unquote, the state, and the public murdered me. And I say that because
Yeah.
I was a typical young man at the time, working weekend warrior, dating, drinking, smoking weed, pot, fighting once in a while, but holding up to your responsibilities and having fun and not being a jackass, you know what I mean? And so, but my consciousness was asleep, and I didn't know it at that time because it'll be in another video, but I was accepting other terms and phrases and identities. I was accepting other falsehoods uh, in life. Like I was accepting the this
Yeah.
falsehood of this political correct term of Native Canadian. Okay, you hear that? Native Canadian, Native American, Black American, French American, Italian Italian Canadian. You know, that kind of thing. Those are just labels put on to you by somebody else. They're falsehoods. Okay, on the most basic level, but from a political level as well. The term Native Canadian is a fucking lie because I'm neither Canadian nor Native. I'm Aboriginal from the Ojibwe Nation, first inhabitants upon this land, if you want to put it like that. You know what I mean? I got free reign across the border, the international border.
We're
Uh,
all
um,
just people, good or bad.
yeah, but but I'm trying to make a point here of accepting identities, false identities, and lies, and expect, and how your consciousness goes to sleep without you even knowing that it happened. Because as soon as you identify with somebody else's identification of you,
Yeah.
you're giving over your own personal power to them. Slavery works best when you get them to do it to themselves. Marxism. The best way to police a people you want to
True.
control is to get them to police themselves. Marxism. You know? And when I talk in those terms, people get mad at me and don't want to talk to me no more. And they fucking get mad at me when I talk stuff like that. I said, look it up. I looked it up. I got some footing. Whether I'm absolute right and wrong, I don't know. I said, but this is where my life brought, and my life's understanding has told me and has educated me. You know what I mean? So, so when I was murdered and sent to prison like that, the person that I wanted to be ceased to exist. Because I wanted to go to university. I was a high school dropout. I was ex-con from a prior conviction, so I was trying to find my niche in life, my path in life.
Yeah.
And the path that I searched out was to go to Calgary, Alberta, DeVry University, and become a forensic accountant. That's the life I wanted. That's who I wanted to be. And that's the person that was murdered. And I say murdered because I was sent to jail for life. Meaning, the rest of my life, I was sent to jail to die, you see. Whether old age or somebody kill me. But I was sent to jail for the purpose of dying. I was murdered.
Yeah.
Because those investigators, Charles Smith, and all them people, collectively, a built-in conspiracy to commit murder upon somebody. It's built into the system. They were, it's, it's in Canadian law. I don't know if it's anywhere else in the world, but when you look up murder in the criminal code, there's a subpart in there that says, I think it applies to
Corrupt.
like third degree murder or something like that. But to paraphrase it, it says reckless in your act whether death occurs or not. So there has to be intentionality to get charged with that paragraph and call it murder. You see, I was sent to jail for the purpose of dying. I was murdered. Which turned out to be a good thing, actually, because when that identity ceased to exist, when that identity died, who I was woke up. Who I am woke up, awakened. You see, which is a good thing too. Now I get pretty aggressive sometimes in my words.
You came out stronger.
No, you could say that, yes, but even that is misleading because for me at least, for me, it appears that I came out stronger, but I didn't because I was always a strong person because that's who I am. You see what I mean? Just my consciousness, the actual identity of me, that is me, woke up, awakened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And me, my consciousness, my spirit, I'm a strong person. And it's kind of held me back a bit because like I said, when I draw that line in the sand, that's me saying I'm ready to put my life on the line for this. Are you? And I mean that politically, I mean that spiritually, I mean that emotionally, and I mean that physically. When I draw a line in the sand, I'm ready to die for it. And that's how I lived for 12 years on those highest levels of stress, anger, depression, anything else that's considered negative, stressful energy. I lived that at the most intense levels. Like you could relate to it because think about the most angry you've been.
Stay strong. Emoji flexed biceps.
I mean, you know how it feels when you're at your most angered. That level? That you're ready to hit somebody? Yeah. Now try living that times 1,000 because you know you're in jail for something that you didn't do. You shouldn't be there. And you're in for the worst crime in society, which in the court of public opinion requires death sentence. So I lived under a death threat for 15 years of my life. Now, people could relate to it, but very few people could understand it. Because the levels that I'm talking about, when in 2005 when Adwick got those reports
that had
back,
to be really tough.
Got that fresh evidence reports back, saying what they said, that there's no crime here at all by anybody. They sent a lawyer, right? They sent a lawyer, and his name was David Bayless, and they sent them to tell me they were onto something, but he was also sent there to test my resolve, to gauge what kind of person I was. Am I still holding firm in my innocence claim, that kind of thing. He was sent there to gauge me. And he admitted that to me too. Nice man, nice man. I love that guy too. But on that show, The Fifth Estate, you'll see him on there. And you'll hear him talk about when he first met me. I was I had a little bit
That's
of
good he did.
I still had a little roll of fat on me, but I was still in shape. I was almost at the peak of my health when I met him. Working out, jogging, for a 3-year stretch I quit smoking. I changed for 5 years now for a while, eh? Like because I had to. So I'm 6'4", 35 years old. No, yep,
Yeah.
34 in a bit because I didn't turn 35 until September of 2005. But I was 34, 6'4", and fucking big. Muscles. I was 265 pounds of muscle. And it wasn't defined the way it was a couple years before, because I used to be ripped before. I used to have about 8% body fat on me before when I ran and worked out. And I was starting to get the shape of the only guy I could put an analogy to was the wrestler Triple H when he wrestled in the 90s. When he was big and bulky and toned, and that's the shape I sort of had. I had long hair down to my ass. My bangs went down lower than my chin. I had a mustache and beard. I was a scary looking fucking dude. My mom commented on that in The Fifth Estate. I was a scary looking motherfucker, man. And
LOL.
And this level of anger and ready to put my life on the line at a drop of a hat. All that energy was at its peak, at its highest levels in my life, where David Bayless put the analogy, it was like seeing rage oozing out of my pores. He said he could almost see rage, or that energy of rage coming out of me, radiating off of me. Yeah. The analogy I use is a highway in the middle of summer at the highest heat, and you see that wave heat, and everything kind of looks blurry when you look through it. That's what was coming off of me. That is what was coming off of me. I was never a good fighter or anything in my life. I was never a tough guy to start trouble ever in my life. But I don't know if it's divine intervention or what, but I never got into a fight when I was in. Once. I know there was death threat on me by guards and stuff, because every now and then people would threaten my life, and I would go and challenge them. Well, I'm right fucking here. I'll take you with me. I'm 6'4", full of rage. Look at me. I swing back, motherfucker. You know? And then that would make him back off. You know what I mean? But it was my sheer size, I think, what saved me, really. Too, just my sheer size. Because from a criminal society mentality, somebody in for what I was in for. The common word
That's good.
The common word is diddler. And a diddler, when people hear that word diddler, of course, child molestation, but they think of a weak spirit, weak in stature, can't defend himself, he's a coward. You know what I mean? And there's truth. It's not absolute true, but there is truth to that. To a molester in prison, because they do hide because they know they could get killed any fucking day. You know what I mean? I never hid. And I shouted to anybody who would hear me, guard, convict, wardens, whoever. I am an innocent man in prison. Fuck you. You know? Because nobody was standing up for me, I had to stand up for myself. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's a strong person, just most people don't find out how strong they actually are.
Yeah.
Until they have no choice.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so. But I found a strength in me that I always knew was there. Because there was nothing. Because when my false identity died, and my consciousness awakened, I know who I am. And I'm not going to let that prison or anybody else turn me into what they want me to be.
Good.
You understand? And I did that on a conscious level. Like it's a weird. When I look back on my time in prison, I lived every day vibrating. Concealed hate. Walking around with my arms at my side in my pockets, head down, walking around every day like that, sort of. Not getting involved with anybody, but that seething rage in you. From the time they open the cell
Strong
doors
spirit.
in the morning till they close your cell at night at bedtime, you live with that 24/7. That hate. I've got a sleeping disorder now because of prison. Yeah, I do. Because of my stresses mainly, but those guards put the convicts through torture every night.
Sorry.
And this is. Do you know what the I forget what it's called. The water drop treatment is? That torture? Well, what that is, I think it originated in China,
Yeah.
where they strap somebody down, put their head in a vice, keep them awake, and for however many days, weeks, months, years, whatever.
Chinese water torture.
That's it. And a drop of water hits them between the eyes all day, every day. Okay? That's what they engaged in every single night, those guards with the convicts. Because
Yeah.
they would, because of their job, they got to go around on their security walks every hour on the hour. But they did this to me. And I know they did this to others. Their flashlight that flash in your cell, and it's supposed to be just to see if they're in there, and then walk away. They would hold that light on my eyes, between my eyes, until I woke up. And part of my PTSD is
They fucked with you.
Everybody, they fuck with everybody. And everybody. And to this day, periodically still, not so much when I first got out,
Bitches.
but periodically still, when I do sleep, I bolt up, scared and confused, thinking I'm still in my jail cell, because what wakes me up is that glow of that flashlight between my eyes still.
I bet.
They tortured me. They intentionally damaged me. They intentionally damaged people in there, and they damage them and dehumanize them. Where now this is where other people won't engage in this conversation with me because I know I'm absolutely right about this, and I believe this is one thing where I believe I am 100%. You you don't have an argument against it, right? Prisons create feral adults. You know what? You know about feral childs? Feral, feral child.
Yeah.
Periodically in history, you'll hear about a child that was raised with wolves in the wild, and they bring that child out back into society, and they have problems. Yeah, right there.
Outside.
Yes, and that's what they create in prisons. Feral adults. Feral adults, and I could prove it to you in a couple sentences here. Society has been programmed to look upon convicts in prison and view them as animals in cages. So when they come out of prison, that's how society sees them, as animals, because they have the same behaviors as a feral child. Feral adult. And then that plays into returning to prison, the revolving door, recidivism, because when they come out,
That's horrible.
when they come out, some convicts actually intentionally get a new offense to go back to jail purposely because that's the only place they feel safe. Now think of Shawshank, Brooks, Brooks, that old man that hung himself, right there. That's an example of it. That's an
Yeah.
example of of it, and the way Morgan Freeman described institutionalization is absolutely correct. First, you hate the bars, then you get used to them. Enough time goes by, you learn to depend on them. Institutionalization, institutionalization.
Yeah.
So, like, and like I said, it was weird when my consciousness awakened because I became aware instantaneously of what I was in every regard you want to talk about it, through philosophy, politics, humanity, anything legal. I became aware of it all instantaneously, just I didn't know how to navigate it. And that's why I started reading the way I did, and I expanded my vocabulary, and I learned words and how to put them into context, and and developed
Good.
the attitude which I used to call, when I started speaking to university students, I called this attitude my fuck youedness. Fuck you, I belong in prison. Fuck you, I'm guilty. Fuck you, I'm gonna let you turn me into something that I'm not. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And that has stayed with me. I'm learning how to tone that down. You know what I mean? Now it's go fuck yourself.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But it's a fuck youedness.
LOL.
And and like, this is not a challenge to anybody, but there's a lot of people that try to come off like that,
Yeah.
who has no idea on the line he's trying to draw in the sand, and the perception of self that he's trying to put forth. You know what I mean? Cowards. They tough guys. One of these guys that talk a lot of shit about stuff they have no
Yeah.
knowledge about. You know what I mean? Those type of people. And that turns into mob mentality, political thinking, cancel culture, and other things like that are always rooted in hate and trying to push somebody's button, but they can't do it one-on-one. That's why they need the mob to do it.
Guards are prisoners in their uniforms.
Yes, they are. And they don't even know it. They don't even know it. They go to a job and put their life on the line every day. $60,000-$70,000 a year, and I tell them, I hope it's fucking worth it, because you could get
like
killed
in the
too.
Green Mile.
Yeah, like it's so a lot of truisms, and absolute truisms I became aware of immediately when my consciousness awakened. It's only now, almost 30 years after being actually physically in there in the 90s and that I could actually put those words and explain it to somebody. Because I never could. I knew what was happening, but I could not put a word to it. Because, like I said, I barely slept in there. There was a stretch in there I was barely sleeping one night a week. But I functioned normally. That became my norm. Prisons flip, invert.
Wow.
Reality. Good becomes bad, up becomes down. You know what I mean? It inverts a person's reality of what's normal and what's abnormal. In there, violence is normal. Out here, they say it's not, but it is too now. Like, you know what I mean? But the normal becomes abnormal in there, and the abnormal behaviors in life become normal. Which I'm trying to flip back again. I'm trying to turn things right side up again.
Yeah.
And I've been out for what 16 years now, and I haven't succeeded in that yet, because I'm still stuck in my head in a lot of ways. Not in my heart, but I'm stuck in my head a lot of ways. I don't go out very often no more. I'm perfectly happy being alone.
Yeah.
You know, I know how to be by myself, which is kind of watered down considering I do have a dog. But that's why I got the dog. So there's another being around here. Yeah, like when you listen to that prisons video.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, when you get to the hockey footage part when I'm talking, that's me sitting on my couch speaking to my dog. That's why it comes out like I'm speaking to somebody, because I was speaking to my dog, and I was explaining to my dog what you hear in that video.
Animals are therapy.
Very much so. Very, very much so. Very much so. And, you know what I mean?
They understand.
I don't think I would die, but if something happened and me and my dog were separated, I think my dog would die because I've spent better part of the last 8 years with him 24/7, pretty much every day for the last 8 years, 24/7 with him. He totally depends on me.
I do have to go for now.
Yep. Yeah, I have to go too actually because as I just did this impromptu. I'm glad you stayed on and I'm glad we talked, Angela.
They are great companions.
And I'm glad you sat and listened and talked to me, spoke with me, and asked me questions and
Nice
listened to me
chatting with you.
because I wasn't intending on staying on this long actually. Because I was just showing a couple people this Rocksmith game, eh? Yeah. That's the only reason I came
It
live
was
for.
very nice.
But 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 I hope we get a chance to talk again. You take care of yourself. Have a nice
Cool.
weekend. And
Yeah.
and we'll talk to each other soon. Yeah. I'm going to be signing off here.
You
'Cause
too, man.
Because it's what midnight now.
Stay
How-
strong.
Yeah, you too. You too, stay strong. Even when things get tough, stay strong. All right. Oh, four views, right on. So, anyway, good night. Yeah.